Okej, någon måndag. Oh, there we go. I got my live chat. Although there's probably nobody watching, but yeah. Nothing, nothing to tired. So very tired. So very tired. Gonna try to play a little bit of games before I do some applications. They go till midnight. Hopefully. Till midnight. That's not a guarantee for anybody who may be tuning in that I'll be playing until midnight. Depending on how I feel and how much rage builds up inside of the rage cage, will determine how long I play. If there's too much in the rage cage, I will likely vacate the premises. Permission to treat this cat as hostile? Permission granted, G. Is it overruled or overcool? Guitar noises. That chick is so cool she can make guitar noises with her mouth that actually sound like the real deal equipment. Regular show was nice. Then they got their Adult Swim spin-off that I never heard of. And then they went to HBO, I think. Yeah, I think it went to HBO. Their Adult Swim spin-off. Regular show, you were great before the fans changed you. No offense, but I'm gonna say straight up what it is, man. When it comes to work, like works of art, people's creative work and workflow with like cartoons and stuff like that, the fans tend to get a little overboard, and then after a while the fans kind of just ruin the TV shows all in general. In perspective, it was once a respectable TV show. But once the fans got their hands onto it, well, it was gone. Oh, señor Buenos. No tan bueno. Seriously though, the fans did ruin regular show after that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's literally how I view it. Regular show was a good show until the fans got their hands on it, and then the fake fans were talking about ideals and functions they thought would make a great episode. And then there was just too much altercations and iterations and issues with external community outreaches that wanted to change the show to make it more friendly towards their gender-specific ideals, which also crippled the show a bit in its popularity, losing quite a bit of its audience. In perspective, never impose your ideals unless the creator wants it. Getting feedback is nice, but taking over someone's work of art is a whole nother story. It's also a whole nother damn thing, and a lot of people like to do that more often than not, is, oh, you made a regular show just for me, so I have the right to tell you what you can and can't put in it. It was the same thing with Adventure Time. It was supposed to be about a boy who adventured, and he was at least supposed to have one girlfriend at the end of the story. But at the end of the day, Finda the Human didn't get nothing. So, it's basically like that meme, but, you know, what SMG4 did with Link sitting on the bench, and Mario telling Link, bro, you know what I just noticed? You get no bitches. I mean, you get no bitches. Like, that's literally the definition of what happened to Finn. He turned into Link from The Legend of Zelda and got no bitches. In perspective, Finn's form factor of nobility and being a super rad awesome cool guy landed him in a position where he gets no bitches at the end of the day. And at the end of the story, he has no children.
Keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Attention to the designated grid square.
At the end of the day, that's exactly what I noticed. Finn the human gets no bitches, no women, nothing. His mild, affectionate flings with princesses was all for naught. In perspective, Finn the human basically got tricked out. Come on, you bastard, I hear you. I hear you, I hear you. A deaf man could hear you. What? Nothing. I'm punished. Oh, Lord, why have you chosen me? I didn't think that would work. Not in my lifetime.
Thank you very much.
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Life. At least one time I survived. Seriously though, that was like Turbo Garbo for me. I only got one kill. Even for me, that was Turbo Garbo, but it was a satisfying finish because at least that guy can't come back cursing up a storm, yelling at me in chat, ramming my tank and whatever, all because, well, I guess generally just shooting him straight in the face, but you know, from the side of his turret. So tonight's stream is going to be some Wobbly Thunder because it's just Wobbly time. And I'm probably going to go to like maybe 12 midnight. It's not a guarantee. Just letting you know that now. Like, it really is not a guarantee. Depending on how I feel in the situation and how much energy I have left, I will have to fill out some applications at the end of the day and continue my boring search for a job. When I say boring, I mean heavily enjoyable. That scared the crap out of me. Definitely not awake all the way. But yeah. You know, in some countries when you're homeless, you go to jail first and then they give you a job. In the United States, you stay homeless, you don't get put in jail unless you're guilty of a crime, which being homeless is a crime, and they don't help you get a job. In perspective, they have absolutely no functions like the British do, where they lock you up and then find you a job before you're out of jail. If you're a citizen that was lost in their country, but have no papers and no way to prove you're a U.S. citizen or a citizen of another country, they won't deport you. Instead, they'll administer you into their country and give you a job. At least in hindsight, they waste not, what not. In the United States, they're rather wasteful. So they'd rather let the citizen rot than to help them find a career choice that could help them really out with finding a better life or a suitable lifestyle that is marginally acceptable by standard means. But in many cases, they prefer to watch you squirm as you're homeless and then poke and laugh, basically. In perspective, for those of you who are wondering, that's literally how it is living in the United States. Authority figures and items and stuff like that, some of them would rather see you struggle and squirm than to see you with a career path. So be careful what state you live in, because some of them would really rather see you behind bars than becoming a somebody. Because, you know, a lot of them like to complain how they have people in their welfare divisional systems like SSI and stuff like that. Those are forms of welfare. Which also includes food stamps. And there are a lot of people who shouldn't be on the system because they're perfectly functional human beings. But there's corruption in the system where people let them slide by saying they got a disability when clearly they do not. I'm one of many people who are classified as mentally ill subjects who cannot work within society, but the fact is I'm a complete loner. Well, they consider that a form of schizophrenia, not wanting to have your friends or anything like that in your life. I mean, I made friends in a small circle of friends my whole life, but I wanted really nothing to do with the general public since I was a kid. It's mostly stemming from, ever since I was a child, getting child molested and how the public just stood there and watched as it happened and it legitimately grabbed popcorn and then came back to watch it happen. Instead of calling the police or beating up the pedophile, they watched it happen. And as a result, I didn't want nothing to do with society, because society was that fucked up to go grab some popcorn instead of helping a kid who's getting raped. Why the hell would I want something to do with it? I even said that to the doctor. Why the fuck would I want something to do with society, you pig? If they stood there and watched me get raped, what the hell gives you the idea that I want something to do with society? Have you lost your goddamn mind?
Attention to the map.
And that was exactly what I told him. He's like, shows signs of schizophrenia. I ain't got no schizophrenia, homie. I just don't like society. For shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. They watched me get molested as a child, and then you want me to be like, oh, society's innocent. Hell no. Fuck society. They watched me, a kid, get raped as a fucking child and stood there and did nothing. Why the fuck would I care what they want? I'm not gonna keep tangoing and dancing for society just because their bitch asses can't produce results. Personally, I hope most of society dies. And that only the good people are left behind. And every day I pray for it. Also, every day I pray for lemons to attack the White House. Nothing but lemon mobiles. You won't survive, dummy mobile. Where the hell did that come from? Well, at least that worked out for you. A Steamboat Willie? Well, that sounds great, Mickey. Great for you. Eh, don't worry, I got your back. But if I die with you, you clown, you have to pay for my funeral.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Defend the sea point.
We no longer have the advantage.
I guarantee you my death is brought to you by the 3 clown cars. So if you're wondering why I'm always sour in life, It's because of that simple reason. If you wonder why I don't talk to you in life, if you know who I am personally, it's for that reason. That reason has never left my mind. In the years that it has been since it happened, that reason has never left my mind, ever. Is to never forget the society itself, this corruption itself. And that I shouldn't be really helping society, more or less. I should be helping myself. I'll help society with some things, but I won't help them with other things. Now, if you're underage and you're a child, you are being molested, and I see it happening, I guarantee you your molester won't be living by the time the police get there. I don't spare people like that. Although they do have the right to due process, that's only if they make it into the hands of police custody, because if they don't, believe me, they won't be around. No more. I see people like that as unredeemable. And the day that I ever catch myself doing something like that, or ever doing it at all at any point in my life, I will do it. Saw did to that chick in that one movie where she had a jaw hooked up to a metal thing and just rip it clean off. Then I'll have my arms cut off. And then my legs. Because I see it as no redeeming if you become the monster you so sought to destroy. So in perspective, that's how I deal with myself. So as long as I don't become that monster, I am satisfied. Because the day that I do, I won't be around anymore. And every day I pray I do not become that monster.
Forces have captured a zone. A little more effort and victory will be ours.
For if I become the monster I set out to destroy, there is no redemption for the world. That's why I love some people, and that's why I hate some people. Ah, such a strange world we live in. Well, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and get out of this baby, and I'm gonna go flying straight to the little bastard. Come on, stop wobbling, airplane. You wobble more than the wheels on the bike. The wheels on the bike go wobble, wobble. It's not the wheels on the bus, it's the wheels on my bike. Because they're always wobbly.
Attention to the designated grid zone!
How many minutes of fuel I have on here? I only got 15. That's half of half an hour. That's enough time to fly in.
Let's keep the pressure on.
Add
Victory is close.
89% coil of power for this engine. Then that's enough time for me to fly back out. Well, back to the airfield. And then refuel before I run out of gas. Eh, we're already at the end of the game. I should just step on it instead of wasting my time. Throw caution to the wind because that's what it is. Yeah, I don't know why people claim I got hacks. Sorry, kiddo, but I don't got no hacks. I got OBS, and that's about it. But if he's talking about hacks and freaking Gmod, that's Gmod. But if there's a War Thunder video, no hacks. I don't know how to hack the game, but I do know how to add extra textures to the game for airplanes. I think they're called skins. I know how to add airplane skins, but I don't know how to do anything else. Actually, I might have to look up a tutorial. There's a I-16 skin I want to add to the game. Ah, I didn't see that guy right there. Well, it goes to show people who don't shoot at their targets or enemies won't give me an idea of where the hell it's at. Oh well. It's kind of stupid though when somebody says you got hacks. You clearly don't though. Yeah, I really don't care what that guy has to say. It's completely pointless. Can't get mad if you get destroyed. For those of you who believe in Pride Month, well, continue to believe in your ideals. Because if you don't, nobody would. That's the sad truth. If you don't believe in your own ideals, how can you expect others to follow them? And for those of you who believe, if you believe in your own ideals, don't force other people to follow them. Because that essentially makes you Hitler. I believe in a world where I can live freely and functional, but I do believe in other ideals as well. However, some ideals are more dangerous than others, which is why I limit my beliefs of really anything. First, we're going to scout this house. Then I'm going to get my distance measurement and go off of that. Okay, so I have to make sure that my distance measurement is around 900 if I want to shoot anything.
Our victory is near.
Attention to the map.
Look at that boob cat, Mark 1. Boob cat, Mark 1. That reminds me, there were rentals of the E100 available at one point. I remember the E100, it was super cool. Ah, there we go, I blew it up out of the air. Whoa there, SpongeBob! I'm gonna have to aim about 1,000 miles or meters, whatever you call it. Thanks for the cover, guys. You're really helpful.
Repairing.
Oh, so delicious. Yeah. I already know. The guy got his wang chopped off and shoved up his Smurf hole. You don't gotta brag about it, son. Look, man, I know the guy got his wang chopped off and shoved up a smurf hole. I don't need you to brag about it to me. Alright, I'm done with the 901 bullshit. If I can't fucking clip that motherfucker, I'm not wasting my fucking goddamn time. Cause if nobody's handling his bitch ass, then why the fuck am I wasting my time fucking playing this garbage? Fucking hate this trash ass game. Everybody wants to do this and everybody wants to do that, but they never want to shoot at the fucking problem. The one fucking problem on the whole goddamn map. Water's delicious, but it's also disgusting. Mostly because water is boring. Just like soda. I should be spending my time freaking lifting weights so I can improve my general strength capabilities. With my strength when in anger, I can definitely shatter my cousin's fist. Fucking goddamn stream sniper hippies. Fucking hate little bitches like that. Some people just tune in just to see if they can rob you of everything in the damn fucking game. You can choke on some big hairy balls. Fucking hate plebs. You got no skill, no talent, yet you want to stream snipe. Get the fuck on somewhere. I ain't giving you the satisfaction of another fucking game or anything. That's why I hate fucking playing this game, let alone streaming. What, you hypocrites ain't finna go grab C? You want somebody else to play fucking donut?
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Attention to the designated grid zone! Attention to the map!
Now go.
Forces have captured a zone.
Attention to the map! Attention to the designated grid square! Roger that! Il cannoniere è stato stordito! Attention to the map! Our victory is near. Affirmative! Attention to the map!
Thanks, little bastard. You're so fucking helpful. Oh, you're so smart. You're so fucking smart.
Reloading!
Yeah, I'm gonna cut this bullshit short. That guy was so fucking smart, just fucking standing there like a dumbass. Yeah, so smart.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
I know he did some damage, but damn, dude. You and everybody else that was camping out C just waited to do absolutely fucking nothing. Fuck is wrong with people? Hold on, let me wait. I have to take a huge crap.
Most of the zones are taken by the enemy.
Yeah, pull out the damn combat flaps or whatever, dude, because this pile of shit is terrible at fucking turning. No lie, man. No lie. This thing is a pile of trash.
Attack the C point!
Yeah, I'm better off throwing this pile of crap in the guard. Right there in the goddamn garbage.
Reloading. Bravo!
Yeah. How about some cover?
Need cover. Yes. Attention to the designated grid zone.
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours.
Gotta fly up higher. I'm really bad at calculating the height distance with freaking airplanes. I end up smashing into the first thing I see in the ground.
Allied forces have
That's a
captured
no
a
low
zone.
moment. I am really bad with flight. Especially in realistic form factors. And this plane sucks. Look at that. The textures kind of just disappeared, so it looks sort of cheaply painted now. Flying back to HQ, mostly because if I lose this right aileron and that piece of the tip of that part of the plane, it's not going to fly. It's going to spin in circles because this plane is trash.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
That's also not a lie. Losing a piece of this airplane, period, will cause it to spin in circles, even if the damage isn't significant. Leave it at 65% power. Slow the plane down. Deploy landing flaps. Drop it to 40%. I gotta get that pile of trash repaired. Now dropping it down to 0. Gonna idle this baby down, step on the gas. And there we go. That thing took off like 10 miles an hour.
A little more effort, and victory will be ours.
Well, as long as it's got a massive cannon on it, it definitely will be worthy. However, this freaking crap-tastic cannon is no help.
Attention to the map.
It does knock off some speed, so shooting it while flying down does give a bit of benefit.
Roger that.
Should probably only be carrying high explosive depending on the caliber of this round. And only if I could say it. This is your captain speaking. If you would like to get off the plane and run for your life, right now is your chance to get out of the plane and leave. There's only one exit. That reminds me, I probably shouldn't be turning that on the freaking ground, otherwise this plane's engines might explode for all I care. I might be good at this game, but golly, dude. The amount of total L's I get versus wins is rather exponentially confusing. And sometimes people ask me why I still play. To be honest, I haven't the slightest clue. I believe it's because this game is just like drugs to me, and I can't get off of it. Hey, what gives? What are you trying to do? Kill me, game? This plane hasn't even picked up enough speed to even call itself a flying plane yet. It's got craptastic engines, and you expect for it to work. Yeah, turn on my combat flaps.
Defend the A point.
Oh, you want me to defend it? Well, that's gonna cost you
A little
$1.50
more effort, and victory will be ours.
per round.
Affirmative. Well done.
Yes, well done. I didn't even press the Y key.
Attention
Pressing
to
the
the
T key.
designated grid square. Awesome.
Great, a game where my team actually wins.
Attention to the map. I agree.
Okay, hold on there, Staniel. I'm gonna call you Staniel. Okay, Stanley, I'm on my way over there. I'm gonna go handle your flat Stanley issue. While I'm at it, I'm gonna deal with your Stanley Parble. Yep. Got my crosshairs, Junie B. Jones. Come on, you pile of trash. For fuck's sake. Look at that, absolutely nothing. You see that? You see that? No bitches. Sadness. And I barely got the first upgrade for this craptastic plane. You know, as many times as I've taken this thing out into arcade battles, I've gotten literally 0 kills. It just gets blown up, and that's it. Like, there's no value. Maybe Junior Bacon, but no value. Let's see how much the high explosive round gets me. Only 10 millimeters, that would be a waste of my time. Had a 102 millimeter gun and only 10 millimeters of high explosive fragmentation depression from a high explosive round out of a 100 millimeter gun. You're doing something wrong if you're only getting 10 millimeters out of it. That's not even enough to start an engine fire that's even reliable. Even at its BR, most vehicles don't exactly have 10 millimeters of armor protection. I understand it being at a lower tier that the vehicle has low armor over the engine block, but on the roof of the vehicle, it is not such the case. If anything, I'm better off with the FC-20 BIS.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Offensive 12s, 20
Enemy forces
millimeter
have captured a zone.
turret, and 12 millimeter offensive 37s and 53. If anything, the FC-20 BIS would be a higher model that I could use to gain more ground and actually become an effective ground strike fighter. But because I'm trying to get rid of that large tank buster, as you would probably call it, out of the way, essentially I'm just trying to get rid of it. Just like I'm trying to get rid of this gun. This tank has its advantages because of its low RPM engine,
Allied forces have captured a zone.
which puts out a very low noise that people tend to ignore versus other vehicles. But in perspective, it does not do too well.
Attention to the map.
I'm barely getting used to wheeled combat with this thing. Has the same reverse gear as driving the PTLO2, but essentially slower. Actually, I think they share the same characteristics with reloading. They take the same amount of time, they both reverse really shitty. Yeah. Essentially this and the BTLO2 are the same vehicle.
We're ahead of the enemy.
Where are you, Mario? I'm going to throw the snowball at you.
Thank you very much.
You've heard of Gorilla Mabs. Well, this is Gorilla Crabs. You've heard of the musical artist Gorilla Mabs. Well, this is his cousin, Gorilla Crabs. Mr. Eugene Gorilla Krabs.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
All I saw was Cheapy the Cheapskate. Eugene Krabs, the owner of the Krusty Penis. Translation: Eugene Krabs, the owner of the Krusty Cheeks. Come on, dude. You guys ain't finna handle the only fat object in the air. And I see why. They got absolutely no SPAA out here. Thanks, guys. Now you think about having an SPAA job after that happens. So intelligent. You're so intelligent. Oh, you're so smart. You're so smart. Where were you? That's right, you was nowheres. The T-14, the all-American electric transmission engine combo. Essentially, the T-14 would have been a nice heavy tank, or medium tank with heavy armor. It's kind of in the middle of medium and heavy. They couldn't really decide. In fact, I think that was the only advantage the T-14 had, was the electronic transmission setup versus all other armored vehicles of the war times. Effectively, I think the T-14 probably would have been a more effective war vehicle. Oh, camping, I'm done. Yeah, fuck you. If you're gonna fucking camp, don't fucking waste my time, you fucking pleb. I ain't fucking into that trash. Least you could have fucking did was cap the objective, you dumbass bum. Well, I'm gonna camp and let them think it's alright. Fucking fat moron. Fucking score points while you can, because when this game turns to complete shit, nobody's gonna be playing it anymore. And then the game's just gonna go down the drain. Just like everything else in my life. It starts out with a nice game, and then it goes from nice game to complete garbage. And you know why, son? It's because this is one of God's many rejected creations. And one of his reject creations seemed to have been involved with creating it. Yeah, you're telling me. Up-tiered? Yeah, this is clearly an up-tier for me. I'm facing a Calliope, which is like 5'7". How the fuck do you think I feel? I'm on a piece of crap of 134 millimeters of armor pen. This thing isn't gonna get anything. Is it 134 or is it 132? Oh, it's 132. Look at that. Yeah, I know. I'm God's abortion. Fucking fat Italian crew.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
I'm this close to destroying the goddamn monitor this thing is fucking connected to. In fact, right now, I'm reaching for the baseball bat, which is why nothing is actually moving right now from the cursor. I'm just gonna put it right behind me. You know, for safekeeping.
forces have captured a zone.
You know, at this point, I don't think they deserve to know what's going on at sea. Let's just leave it as is and then just let everything crumble. By the time they decide to give a fuck, it's gonna be too late anyways. Let's keep going. I'm having a miserable time like I was earlier. I wasn't winning, I wasn't getting anything. Just a miserable time. Just because my team win doesn't mean I won. If I don't have at least 1 kill or even 3 assists or 4 assists to make 4 quarters to make 1 kill, then it's definitely not a win for me.
The enemy has captured most of the strategic
If the
zones.
gratuitous amount is more than the gratuitous amount, the gratuitous amount is less than the gratuitous amount won, it is a loss. If the gratuitous amount is more than the gratuitous amount lost, it is still a loss if it's only 1,000 over. Because that means essentially I made no profit, because the ammunition consumes the overage. Essentially I made no profit.
Attention to the designated grid square!
Over here, you fat plane. Come on, dude. They're all flying at him. How are they not hitting him? Whatever. Just gonna get blown up real quick so that way I can get it over with. Over here, fatty. Yeah, essentially no win. I have no idea how that ass clown didn't see me.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
How the hell did that happen? Does not work.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Essentially, I'm trying to figure out how that guy still got his aerial kill after no bomb drop. In perspective, what I learned today was that you could still die if an airplane crashes
The
within
enemy has
7
controlled
meters
most
of
the
you.
zones.
Still made no sense considering the gunner, the driver, everybody was dead. So there was literally no pilot in that plane, and somehow he still managed to kill the guy. And in perspective, he managed to ammo rack him. I know what I just saw. Could have sworn I just seen a calliope. Well, trying to Hulk smash my way through these obstacles. Yes, while I'm dealing with the E. calliope.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
Most of the zones are under enemy's control.
Do you exist for certain functions? Do you live to be happy? Are you happy? Are you really just a donut pretending to be a human? If so, well, I don't know what's up with you. Do you know of a guy called Hermaphrodite Springfield? Oh well, at least the loser still died, getting absolutely garbo in response. Man, that game sucked ass. No gain. Alright, you little bastard, let's go into another game, but this time we're just switching over to airs. Alright, new subscriber, even though I didn't expect for it to go like that in life. Watch, as soon as this stream actually legitimately starts, and then all of a sudden, it's just not going to be doing anything. You know, it's kind of weird, but for anyone who actually knows anything about YouTube or anything about anything, period, associated with the internet, you know, the ads always appear right after the person goes live. So if you're not a premium subscriber, you will most likely see an ad right away after the stream starts officially. But if it says stream starting soon, everything is just going to be all nice and dandy, no ads. But then once the stream starts, there's an ad. There's another ad. What's that? I had to watch 24 ads? Well, one time I was watching this podcast and whatever, and the subscribed users decided to make a 44 ad thing by everyone who didn't want no one becoming a part of the competition or knowing the information on how to get into a contest. They decided to all start throwing points into the ad, making the contest slightly unfair and unaccessible for people who didn't know anything about it.
Back up.
Okay, I'm too lazy to go finish that. Just like what SpongeBob said, looks like I'll have to move back in with Mom and Pop. And then his best friend said pretty much told him, no you don't. Oh great, one machine gun's jammed. I mean, I got one limp item. Yeah, I figured I was gonna fail hard on that one. Pew 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 pew. Back off, Lord Condomadon. Ah, he lit me on fire.
Your left wing's been hit. You've got a hole in your left wing.
Oh, you traveled all that way for nothing, boy.
Somebody cover me.
Oh man, I bet he thought it was payday. He's on fire. Let me get that kill. Nope, I'm gonna give it to the computer. But yeah, in perspective, I pray to God that some of you don't have, have some form of ad blocker, because I'm not trying to expose you to unnecessary ads that are unimportant or have absolutely no significant value in the sense. In the sense, I believe my subscribers and viewers have no right to be badgered with ads by the YouTube company. They already rip off most of their users who make content, video content, for millions they should be making by saying we allow you to stream on our platform. We allow you to store your content here. We allow you to become popular. We allow you to become more relevant. You know, these are weird things that are actually written in the EULA. The only reason why YouTube doesn't charge you a monthly fee to use their services like some platforms tried doing back then was because they allow you to keep your subscribers. They allow you to function on their website entirely charge-free. Yet they, quote-unquote, will tell you straight up right now, although they allow you to have all these access to these networks, storage capacity, and everything alike, they take your information and sell it. Personal information and stuff like that.
Attention to the map.
Back when Google's previous CEO refused to give personal information out to the United States government, that previous CEO had disappeared. Nowhere is to be found. Except dead in his apartment in California. You won't get away from me, Mr. Quacklecheck. Oh. But yes, Google will sell you information, and on occasions they do target high priority streamers or content creators. So if you think you're protected just because you have 20 million subscribers, 2 billion subscribers or not, Google themselves will eventually sell your information to somebody, and it's not by mistake. They don't shut your account down by mistake. They do it to see how much you really care about being on their platform. It's a way of checking to see if you really are on their team. It's just what I call an algorithmic function that was designed by the computerized AI and its quantum thinking platform. Are you really all about Google? Are you really all for Google? They'll test it out and see how fast you respond to your channel disappearing or being locked out of the account. And that's usually how it starts. Hold on, I gotta take out Sedusa. Whoa.
The enemy's getting closer to victory.
And I gotta help the mayor of Townsville. Holy crap, he shot my tail. Okay, it's time to go home.
Returning to the airfield.
Yeah, because I don't think this thing can handle any more abuse. Yeah. I'll do some crop dusting. Today's crop dusting pattern, snowflake. Let's give it a little bit to these horses and the people there. Those buildings right there look like houses, but one of them is likely a stable. By the way, if you've ever been around horses, horses are very happy animals whenever they're treated well. They're very eager to meet some people sometimes, but in some cases, if a horse has been treated poorly, or if a man's touching the horse in the wrong place, you should get your horse a therapist. I say that because sometimes there are weirdos working on the farm who are just downright, you know, sick in their mind. They have no business around the animal. So if you're wondering if I do help animals, the answer is yes. There was a horse that used to pull around a carriage whenever I was younger, and that horse was being touched by the guy who was clearly riding him, which is why the horse wanted to kick him in the face so bad after he kicked him off the chair from the chariot. So the guy was doing pretty nasty stuff and down behind the scenes to that animal. And I knew that because the horse was crying.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
It's sad whenever you know the things that go on behind the scenes with animals. But in many cases, I hope that man got what he got coming to him. Because he got kicked so hard in the chest by the animal, the cops wanted to shoot the animal, but I said straight up, this animal is a victim of abuse. The cops asked me how I knew that, and I said his animal is crying. I said animals don't cry for free, son. There's usually something horribly wrong whenever an animal's crying, and there's absolutely no explanation as to why. So they asked me to elaborate, and I said it's really likely the guy who's riding the carriage and having the horse's total control with the ropes is probably molesting the animal. They sent the animal, or the horse, to another farm where the horse would live out its days in total happiness, supposedly, but I had to make sure that that's what exactly happened with it. I did do a lot of follow-up, making sure that the owners put the horse on a farm where it would live the rest of its days until it died of natural death. It was a long and boring process. I'm not gonna lie, it really was a long and boring process. But overall, in the end, the results were satisfying. I helped an animal, a man got kicked so hard in his chest he died at the hospital. Everything was great. By the way, I do know of horse's pain. An animal that has no love or wants to be loved, but not loved in the way another person wants to love them. An animal that needs loving care, family, and functions sort of like that alike. These are faces of inspiration. As you can clearly see, the eyes that are not coordinatedly centered prove that this person has enough brain cells to barely open a jar of pickles. And on the left-hand side, this guy believes he's a total badass. However, the diamond in the center of his head just makes me want to aim for the head. In perspective, if you're no gypsy, why do you have that diamond right there? What is it? The ace of diamonds? Looks like somebody brought a bomber to a non-ground unit assault. I better get rid of him before he becomes a problem. Oh, looks like he's already gone. Oh, looks like I better grab the BB-1 then. Goodbye, Helmeppo. The idiot son. Oh, looks like I ran out of peanut butter. JU-87G. Cups. No gun for you. No gun for you. Oh. No gun for you. No gun for you. Whoa there, Cuck Bob. Well, looks like I better measure out my speed accordingly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need to make sure this thing stays in the air long enough for me to perform any operations before it breaks down on me.
Attack the enemy!
Oh, well, that explains a lot. I got shot right there, but that's a 37mm hole. The rear gun of that machinery that shot at me definitely was not 37mm. He's got no engine, so that pile of shit is at least going back down to the depths where it came from.
Cover me!
His name is Dark Helmet. We have to go ludicrous speed. Ludicrous
The
speed.
enemy is winning.
Yes, I said ludicrous speed. Spaceballs. Need to get more oxygen for planet Spaceballs. Oh man, there were so many people who used to stream on freaking Twitch that I followed. Their lives changed forever. They either became homeless or they died. Hello. Can't really say your name since at the moment my brain's a little bit jumbled up. It's kind of a soup right now. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this engine on this stupid plane, but it seems to be acting like it's damaged already.
We are losing.
Yeah, no thanks. Come on, dude. You can clearly see I'm fucking aiming at the son of a bitch. Why the fuck is it not hitting a goddamn fucking thing? Jesus fucking Christ. There's no fucking winning with this trash game. I feel like ripping out my freaking testicular hair. Just like a fucking goddamn feel something. Failure is all I'm feeling in life. I wish I was happier, but there ain't no such thing as happiness in this world. Everybody just shits on you. I'm bashing my brains out with this freaking bat. Probably should, and then finish it off by smacking my head with a piece of granite, so that way I don't wake up. I genuinely hate playing games. I tried turning it into a career, and it's just way too much stress to even be doing that. Along with having a regular, real job to look forward to is also a nightmare. Because I hate socializing in public. One of the main reasons why I don't even talk to people when I go to work. People are like, oh, he's non-communicative and he doesn't talk to me. Bitch, that ain't part of my job description, is talking to other team members. My job isn't to blab my lips off and talk to somebody who it has absolutely nothing to do with my life. In fact, I even told my boss that once, dude. Well, it's okay if you want to speak Japanese, dude, as long as you're not cursing up a storm. So I don't know what to tell you, dude. And I believe the words go along, amenasai. Which I completely drew a blank on what that meant, but I believe it means I'm sorry. Or was it gomenasai? God damn it. One Piece. Bounty Rush. But in this case, it's One Piece. P63 Rush. You know, when time flies, you really forget about everything that happens in life. You also forget about your birthplace. This also reminds me of something very thing. It's nice you love War Thunder. I might actually quit playing War Thunder. Mostly because I've been playing it for like over, well, I guess I've been playing it since I was like 17 or something like that, and most of my teenage years went down a toilet playing this game. I also avoided circulational contact with schools at a young age, mostly because I didn't like the public, and I kept trying to enroll in a homeschool program. But my parent didn't want me home because they said I need to be exposed to the public. The only thing that created was unreasonable, not logistical situations where it just didn't work out, essentially. So these unrealistic, not logistical situations involved with trying to get to be a somebody at school more or less led down a more heavier path, which ultimately led down to the destruction of my life. If I had stayed away from schools, like public schools and educations like that, I probably would be more successful in today's society. Because I didn't want to go to school so I could learn to be friends with people. I like talking to people, but I would have been fine not speaking to another soul my entire life and just interfacing. Like some people in the universe, they get up, they go home, they go to work, they go to sleep. And that was kind of like the whole ordeal. Whenever I got up from, I was expecting like, you know, finish schoolwork, do my tests, stuff like that from home. Then just play games after that, and try to build a YouTube career or something like that in the meantime while I was being homeschooled or whatever. But unfortunately my parent was so eager to let me become a somebody and have a social life, which I desperately didn't give two damns about. No offense to anybody who loves their social life, but I don't really love my social life. It's really toxic and it's really unacceptable. Having a social life is one of the most toxic situations I've ever been involved in.
Attention to the map.
And I would urge anyone who ever had a social life to probably discard one of many platforms, which also include Facebook, Twitter, in general things like that, because they're no good to have. It's just way too much toxicity, and other people's ideals can be extraordinarily dangerous. Plus, that's a lot where a lot of these cultists actually exist nowadays. Believe it or not, there's a lot of weird things going on the internet, and most of it is illegal. I honestly don't care. Having somebody's thoughts being told to me is nice, but only if we ever get to meet in person. Then you get to be one of many, maybe 45 people I'll ever talk to in my whole life. I've set the number cap of people that I should know up to 45, and that'll basically be about it. So if I know you by name and I remember your name, and I know who you are in person, or at least through some form of communication that is kind of like meeting in person, then of which you are important enough to be remembered for all eternity. Well, you enjoy your lunchtime, kiddo, because you better enjoy it while you can, because once you get into the soul-crushing universe of having to get up at 3 in the morning and then go to work, only to be docked pay or be told, oh, we have to cut your pay because the company's making cutbacks, when it's really your boss just cutting your hours so his paycheck gets bigger. You'll understand what I mean when I say screw certain liberal agendas, and certain agendas of any type, whether it be liberal or conservative. Which is probably why revolutions happen, son. If you want to know a little bit more about history involving Japan, you might know a lot of it, which also may include the malformed processing of how people were plagiarized during the earlier years of a long time ago, which also includes during the Cold War. A lot of people were plagiarized, people were searched, and there was a lot of policing going on. And a lot of civil freedoms were removed during those times, even though they claimed no existence or participation in such. And as such, the general public did suffer to some extent, believe it or not. I felt bad for those who actually did suffer to some extent because their lives were destroyed in the procedural process during that time. So if you were in Japan, you were around and alive during the Cold War, life will be a nightmare for you, because it was a nightmare for the citizens who lived there. Like, you're talking about the Japanese equivalent of the Gestapo. It was rough. The people that were living there at the time, and then the freaking killings of their own people. Yeah, that actually did happen. There was a such thing as a Japanese Gestapo, for any of you who didn't know. During the Cold War era, when Japan was being accused of having some part to do with the Cold War, there was a Japanese Gestapo silencing people who knew what was going on inside of the country, deep within its inner workings. There was also still confines in an ideal where the Japanese wanted to get involved with war, because they were still sour that they lost World War II. Actual facts. There were still members of the IJN still retaining power as generals and functions and figures within the political society during the Cold War. And of that time, these generals who were still a part of the IJN and still believed in the Imperial Japanese Navy's original motives and ways were the remaining factor of what was left of dead members of the Cold War, and as you could say, walking zombies of World War II. Those who were sour because the war ended the way it did, and instead of having a glorious battle to the end, it ended with 2 large explosions, which left most of the nation sour towards the United States, and anyone else that stood by and watched it happen. In perspective, when the Cold War began, the Japanese had offered their help in accordance with functions in other nations, which eventually led down a couple of shady paths. There was also members or former members of the IJN who were supposedly incorporated with some of these functions, which actually resulted in further damaging issues involving the Cold War, further incriminating the sad little country.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will
In
win.
perspective, is Japan sad today? Probably not. It's probably one of the likely to be most technologically advanced countries in the world. But unfortunately, as a whole, based on its history and what it has been accomplished or what it was involved in, I gotta say, from what I learned from digging around deep in the inner workings of Japan, is that there was sometimes shady business. And even though the business was shady, it was one of many things that which the world had learned to come. And a lot of the world did not want it to come to pass. Because again, if it was, how you say, if there was enough incriminating evidence of it happening again, the United States basically would have dropped another bomb on the country. And they wouldn't be around. There would be no Japanese people. The anime would have gone. Well, all the anime in the universe would have vanished. Because without the Japanese, there wouldn't have been a use for really anything. You wouldn't have your Naruto or anything like that. So unfortunately, due to those circumstances, if there was enough circumstantial evidence that the Japanese were involved with the Cold War at the time, it would have gotten bombed again for violating some kind of ridiculous disarmament treaty involving the United States and several other countries in the world, which involved disarming and dismantling its military forces, and instead to have what they call American forces, or the allied nations that were associated with the United States, to be stationed there to be their personal defense unit. Eventually the JASDF was designed, and the Japan Air Self-Defense Force was also created,
Destroy the target!
which I believe is the JASDF. The Japanese Self-Defense Force was created as a function, or external function,
If we don't do something fast,
to solve
the
an
enemy will
issue
win.
with the lack of military power in the country itself. And as such, that function is what left the country ultimately wide open for investigation a second time, which was when they were creating their own militarized power, or their own army. Even today, many countries still believe Japan does not have a right to deem its own navy, air force, or militarized corps. So the Japanese found a way around it by creating their own militarized police force, which I believe is the JASDF, or their Japanese SWAT team. It's like really weird, but their form of their air superiority and their tactical operational superiority involving tactics and rescue, hostage negotiation, and other stuff has all been dropped down into their police force, which is literally trained, hardcore, balls to the wall, military style.
We've suffered a defeat. Everyone back to base.
In perspective, they have one of the most hardcore police forces in the universe. At least so far, they have one of the most hardcore forces. So if you're ever in a CQB fight, close quarters battle, it's going to be rather rough for you to even survive that. Even if it isn't a hypothetical situation, your hypothetical might lead you into a room full of death and bullets if you go up against them. In perspective, they have one of the most lethal forces that are available. However, when it comes to militarized strength, they manage to match up with some countries, but not all countries they can match up to. Obvious countries I'm going to exclude is the USSR, also known as Russia, China, and the United States. Simply because of their massive size and the amount of population they have in their military force versus civilian force, kind of wise and stuff like that. Having acute special tactics and functions like that can only save you for up to a certain point, merely only buying you time. In perspective, although it may make you bulletproof for now, it does not make you bulletproof forever. That's usually what I tell people. So, if you're Japanese and stuff like that, you may have one of the most hardcore police forces in the world, and if they ever went up against another armed force or something like that, that you'd probably be destroyed, well, sadly there are many answers to that, and there are many Unknown answers that cannot be given. If you love yourself, you'll believe in your country as a good person. But deep down below, some of you may know that that is only a dream. Still, sometimes putting rose-colored glasses does make life a little bit less stressful. But at the same time, it makes you a blind fool. This also explains why back in the day, and probably still today, the Japanese suicide rates were rather high. It was mostly because people were living without their rose-colored glasses. Without those rose-colored glasses, the suicide rates were definitely high at the time. It was because the unfathomable reality and the pain they went through, and then the issues they have to deal with today. Some people in the world still prosecute Japanese people like they're Nazis. Well, it's not their fault. Their own emperor decided to turn on a flip coin and then decide to go and school around with that. But the honest truth is that at the end of the day, they weren't going to be working with Adolf for too long. As soon as they had his complete and utter trust, they were definitely going to cut all ties, and it was going to be an all-out fight between Japan and Germany, which was how the initial result was to be. That's why the Japanese mainly focused on capturing people alive rather than killing them. But when it started to turn the tables around, the tables were turning on them, they had to start shooting the people they were figured they would capture. In perspective, it kind of left them in a bind early on in these ideals. However, if everything went down where Adolf Hitler won the first beginning half of World War II and had completely destroyed many of the countries around, it would have likely have ended that way, where the Japanese were going to be fighting Adolf Hitler and many of his many armed troops all the way to the death. In perspective, it would have left the Japanese the heroes of what was left of the world, but what was left of the world would have also been enslaved to them as well. So it was either a gas chamber or work for a bunch of Japanese people. And in perspective, I think people would have rather have preferred to work for the Japanese the rest of their existence than to have been enslaved or thrown into a gas chamber where they will likely suffer a very painful death that would take forever to happen. In perspective, those were really the only options that the world was looking at. Although it wasn't great, that's really all I can tell you from what it is. The history has proven time and time again that one way or the other you were kind of screwed before you even had the opportunity to really return the firepower back. If your military force didn't return fire ASAP, your country was likely outgunned or they were screwed because they were technologically inferior. Now, if you want to know about the Cold War and stuff like that, there are messages hidden inside the anime called Pat Labor. It's an animated movie, it's an anime-style drawing, and it tells you a little bit about ideal functions and during the Cold War. It also gives you a bit of an idealistic look on how much policing there was during that time. And the corruption in Japan was pretty nasty during that time. Seriously, dude. This guy flying in front of me actually kind of threw me off. It's kind of weird, but people say what they say. Come on, dude, that was straight up in his damn face. How are you gonna screw me like that? What the hell do I look like, Scrappy-Doo? Come on, dude. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Alright, asshole.
The enemy has captured the airfield. We
Get
must
off.
regain control of it immediately.
Back up, big boy. You ain't winning this time. I'm gonna take out his tracks if I can. Up, like a jam begun. That's gonna do me no good in the long run.
Somebody attack him!
Whoa. Whoa, asshole. Peter, what's wrong? You still have your clothes on.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is
Well, that
close.
didn't last me too long. I'm the Flying Dutchman. A lot of weird things. Oh, by the way, another weird fact that you could learn about Japan during its many weird involvements with the Cold War. If a citizen tried to speak up, they'd be jailed immediately. Anyone caught of conspiring or telling the truth about what was going on in the country because everybody knew, but they were all forced to pretend like they knew nothing. It's just like living in the United States whenever they said that the Cuban Missile Crisis happened when it actually didn't. You know, this country likes to make up a lot of weird crap living in the United States. You know, right now they're making up that COVID-19 is making its strike back in the United States. Controlled media with bull crap and no evidence to provide. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yes, the P-51 with the Hispano cannons. Aquí estamos con Donnie.
Attack the sea point!
I'm going bonkers.
I agree!
The
Oh,
enemy
you want me to
has
attack
captured
the sea?
airfield. We've got to act fast.
Well, that happened.
Thanks!
Must be the Mexican salsa.
Somebody attack him!
Salsa mexicano. So I spend most of this night doing whatever, playing this game. I love War Thunder, but I also hate it too. Don't ask why. It's mostly because I haven't a concept in the world. Might also play Resident Evil 2, but it'll likely be off camera. It's also kind of weird, but I got the DLC, but none of the original soundtrack for some reason. I do have some of the soundtrack in there, but my DLC for the soundtrack seems to have vanished.
Commencing attack.
I agree!
A6M2, huh? You're not winning this fight. No way, buddy.
I can't see him.
Oh, looks like he came back with his own Hispano cannon. Well, so I'm gonna have to come back at him with this one.
Attack the
The
sea point!
A36G model.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Man, I go ham on the A36, and then there's a P36. But you know, I go ham with this, and that one right there, the G Hawk. I go ham with that too. It's all ham and cheese for me, man. And with this, I have a total of 10. Is it 10? Yeah, I got 6 plus 4. I got 10 12.7 machine guns mounted to this thing. That's enough to literally be classified as a bomber aircraft. Because most bombers usually have about 10 dual cannons or 10 guns in total in 12.7 M2 Browning machine guns. Usually all not grouped together like that, but they usually have around that amount. With the amount of guns I have on here, I should be a bomber. I should get access to that bomber slot. Okay, I know this turret's coming for me, so I better go ahead and get it ready. What's wrong? You don't like your subtle reality check? Just as planned. What's up? Hold on, I only need the minimum load. I need to be blowing the whole load with this whole ordeal. Alright, time to get the P-36. Might not deal as much damage, but it definitely was fun. When this plane originally was put out in the game, the 12.7s were on the wings and the 7.62s were right there in the engine compartment area. But they switched it around, now it's 4 7.62s and 2 12.7s. Essentially, I'm still finna go ham. Ham and bacon. It said I destroyed 8 AI air targets. Are you fucking kidding me? You mean to tell me those simps I was shooting at were nothing but AI? Oh well. Yes, I guess I see your point. They call him Octocon. Ah. Young love. When will it ever exist? Well, you know what sucks about life is whenever you're right out of high school and you don't have a girlfriend, so you know you're gonna die alone right after that. So I don't know if you guys are out there working on getting a girlfriend sometime before the end of high school, because in today's economy, you're gonna need her income to help you actually have an apartment together. Otherwise, you're gonna be living on housing and probably not have a good life. So I guess get your romance BS out of the way, because in today's society, it looks like they're trying to kill the whole romance and they're trying to destroy all of middle class to prevent it from existing again. In the United States, middle class existed, where people lived comfortably and were happy. Now middle class doesn't exist because all of a sudden, due to rising prices and home value, people have been forced out of their homes because the bank says you've been outpriced. Now you have to pay this new price for your home, even though you already paid for it. As the banks continue to become more corrupt, homes are lost. Homeless people are created. Who will stop the madness? Oh, and can somebody get rid of Matthew McConaughey and make him go back to California because he's ruining the state? If he knows absolutely nothing about the economical functions of a state he moved to, why the hell would he invite a bunch of airheads to come live here too? They all need to go back to their state, where they stayed at and partied and had whatever. This state has absolutely no development value if there was already plans and laws in place for preservation of wildlife. Because of such wildlife loss, has become more of a monumental issue involving communications and corruption within City Hall. So if you're a vigilante or someone who just likes to go hunting for people in general for sport, please get rid of the corrupt members of the City Council.
Down.
Up. Well, lost a flap. That's no good. Well, we better turn around. This guy might try to come and get me later. Also, get rid of the weirdos who came from California to be in the City Hall state preservation system involving my state. The corruption is becoming a little too much to handle. It's also destroying our countryside. It's also creating a large amount of pollution.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who come from California to come live in the state of Texas, we don't go out and shoot cows, as those animals have not lived in the wild for over 100 years. They have absolutely no survival skills and will not run from you if you point a gun at them. They won't even charge you. I understand cow tipping, but yeah, we don't hunt cows. When I say we, I basically mean them, but in perspective, because I lived in the state, I know what exactly people do in the state. So if you're from California, the first thing you don't want to do is say cow hunting, because it does not make you cute. It makes you look really, really, really stupid. Because you came to a state without realizing how any of its functions are, and that there actually is a law against defacing beef in the state of Texas. If you crap on a steak after it's been eaten, or you spit it out and chew it and spit it out and say it tastes like crap, you can go to jail for it. If you're gonna order a steak in the state of Texas, you better eat it or pass on it. Respectfully pass on it and give it to somebody who will eat it. Wasting beef in this state is rather a large offense. Especially if you own cows just to shoot them for sport, you will go to prison. So, if you're a farmer and you're shooting your cows for sport and you're not eating any of the meat, you're going to prison. Don't waste the beef supply, and don't waste our time. If you're owning cows so that you can get a tax reduction in the bracket, I'm going to tell you this now. In the state of Texas, they do check to see if you really are farming and adding milk and other things. This also includes shearing any sheep, getting any eggs from chickens and stuff like that. So if you're going to use animals to get a tax reduction in your taxes for your property taxes, you need to know the first few things about it too. You could be charged with fraudulent activity involving the tax division, which is also called tax fraud. You could be charged with tax fraud if you're using the animals and you just got them there, but they're starving to death and you're spending no money on feed for the animals. Having farm animals on your farm indicates that one of two things have to happen. If you do not have the money to support your animals, you have to sell them off in the auction, give them away for free, or you have to put down the animals cut them up and sell their meat. But you can't have the animals sitting on your property until they starve to death, even if you do own them. Because you will get charged with criminal charges.
Attention to the designated grid square. Launching an attack.
So for anyone who is completely unaware of that situation, yes, that is what's going to happen. You will face criminal charges if you have your animals sitting on your property and they're dying. You have to kill them and then sell the meat. Same thing goes for chickens. You gotta kill them and sell the meat. If you let them starve to death, you'll get charged with animal neglect.
This time the enemy has proven stronger. Withdraw.
It's a little weird, but everything is protected here in the state of Texas. So again, if you're from California, don't say cow hunting because you're going to look like a complete moronic piece of shit. Nobody hunts cows in Texas. And the only thing they did hunt in Texas was the buffalo, and they almost did it into extinction. So you can tell this to history. Screw you, Johnny Appleseed. Because him and his people nearly put the animals into extinction. They almost put their own cattle into extinction as well. Many people find and hold their animals like the cow very dear and precious to them because the animal itself is hard to come by. And nowadays you got cloned animals running around on a farm. So if you think your steak is genuine, don't bet on it. There's a good likelihood that if your county or state has cows walking around that they're not real cows. They may be physically really there, however their meat is likely cloned. So you likely just got a cloned animal in front of you. So again, don't be shocked if you feel like the steak tastes different when you get a steak from Mexico versus getting a steak in the state of Texas or anywhere else. Do not be shocked if the steak tastes different. The reason why is because your body is so used to eating, and I'm going to quote unquote tell you this because a lot of you may or may not know this, but the human body is so used to eating refined meat that has been left in a freezer and then pushed out by the government in order for it to be available for you to eat as a whole. And you're so used to eating meat that's so fresh. Fresh slaughter versus sat in a packet or whatever and pumped full of freaking vitamins that are not necessary or even antibiotics are what make things different. In Mexico, there are still cows that are unregulated and do not have any antibiotics at all, and the meat itself is different tasting versus the meat that is served here in the United States. The reason why is because these cows eat off the land and they drink the water of the land when it rains, and they do collect the rainwater for the animals. The rainwater in Mexico is not toxic or anything like that. However, the rest of the world does try to paint an image that Mexico is a dirty nation, dirty and disgusting and filthy. And those are what you call the uneducated people who go there thinking that that's what it is, without even doing a little bit of scientific research into the agricultural functions or process of the nation itself as a whole. So they end up being more or less what I call confused jargoners, because their jargon makes no sense, and it has practically zero need or valuable information. Okay, well that's pretty much all the information that I can expenditure for at least this portion of the time that I've spoken. But other than that, if you're wondering why you got diarrhea from eating a meat in Mexico, it's because of that. Now, when people say that the water in Mexico, you shouldn't drink the water in Mexico, you shouldn't drink the water in certain parts of Mexico. And that is true, you shouldn't drink the water. But if you've never had natural spring water that's 100% all natural and whatever, then you've never really had good water before in your life. Now, there are American citizens who come to Mexico to try to marry the poor women in that country so that they can become a Mexican citizenship according to marriage, so that they can open up their businesses in Mexico. And the sad part is that they steal the water from the public and they take public drinking places, leaving the general public with no water or fresh water for their own animals or for their own selves to bathe in. And those parts and those companies that have gone there to create and do such illegal illicit activity, which is also taking the water from the public, have also left the nation itself crippled in some way when it comes to clean water in certain areas. In perspective, I frown upon those who go out there to get married to somebody simply because they want to turn a profit. And for those families who sold out just so their child could turn a profit later in life, or another generation of families were like that, and then they come out all Americanized and don't care about any of their heritage or any cultural beliefs or functions, well, the only thing I gotta say is this: you're gonna die an ugly death. Because, man, I mean, man, you should count yourself lucky if no one finds out that you're a person who came into power through selling out their own country. Because the people there will crucify you. That's no lie, like they will crucify you. People there take dirty money in some cases, but not all the time.
Attack the B point.
But yeah, the general public is not really friendly to those out there who sell out their country for profit. And that was after a brief study when they called this one woman a scab and they beat her to death with stones. She got married to an American citizen who wanted to get married to her, and then he opened his big company and business and took away the drinking water from the public. They beat her to death, right after they beat her husband to death on the road. And as for the children, well, they went bye-bye too. I know it doesn't sound normal to hear that from somebody, but coming from me, from what I've seen as a child, yeah, that's kind of what happened. Not gonna lie. It was the most disturbing day I ever went outside to go to the candy store in Mexico. Seeing a CEO get pulled out of his building and then get beaten up, and then a company get burned down to the ground. Never thought a water company or a water plant would explode, but they do explode. Probably because of the dangerous chemicals that got in there to treat the water or whatever. It was definitely a massive explosion that came from that building. It was huge. Freaking huge fireball. Just like pieces of stone, the brick that was there, just everywhere. It was wild. I was 9 when I saw that. We went back to the United States after that. Yeah. I still miss living in that little rocky looking house that was owned by my grandpa. His house was made out of nothing but concrete, but it was always cold in the summer. In that house, it was cold. It was never hot. Gadzooks. Oh no, the proletariat shot at me.
The victory is near.
Oh no.
Attention to the map.
Yeah, homie, you want me to help you and I don't even gotta work a gun.
Repairing!
I'd probably be more successful if I had stayed in Mexico. And I remember I was begging my father to leave me behind so I could live there, not in the United States. That was like super racism when I was living in the US. There still is super racism here. We're talking about the Superman a racist actually was around still. Still is a Superman a racist, but you get the idea. Well, I got lucky right there. There was no way that guy was literally doing that for that long. That guy must have really been sniper vision. He must have been in sniper vision mode, because that dude definitely didn't see that coming. There's no way he didn't hear that round smash in the building next to him either. Well, how do you pass up on that either? Like, how does that happen? There might be somebody right over there. Now that I think about it, that actually might be somebody right there. Yeah, there was. Look at that. I almost got blown up. I miss living in Mexico. I always wonder what happened to Manuel and his friend Jose. They were so cool. Yeah, I know, Aladdin, but I gotta get it up there first. Jafar is gonna need glasses. So close. Aladdin 4. Jafar may need glasses.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Attention to the designated grid zone!
Are you serious? Are you serious right now? Come on, dude. Gotta get rid of Cutler's wife over there.
The enemy is getting closer to victory.
Damn it. God damn it. God damn it. What the deuce? Do 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 do. Well, I tried. Hold on there, bruh.
Fertig machen.
Well, there I go, shooting off around preemptively. Till getting shit done. Well, at least I killed the driver on that one. Well, there we go. Then I got something.
More pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Feuerbereit.
There we go. What the hell is that? Oh, the dude must have been able to control it with a secondary gunner or some crap like that.
Attack the A point.
Get on that alpha point. For once, the battle is actually turning out slightly okay for me, and it's not going sour entirely. Because believe me, it's gone sour more often than not. I should probably cap it myself. I don't think the skid stiffer, or the flint stiffer over there is going to really go over there to cap the objective. Flintlock wood!
Attention to the map.
Hold on. This dude's aiming at something over there. Sent around flying straight through there.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Behind.
Mache Feuer bereit.
Really? How was he still able to shoot after I annihilated his damn gun? Oh well. Oh. Son to hop inside the airplane and have zero success. I guess that's what I'm going to have to use for dropping reference. No way in hell I know any other way to measure that distance correctly. It's going to be a slow day. Ow.
Cover me.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Yeah, I ain't getting no assistance on this. Fucking goddamn useless clowns. I asked for some goddamn cover and I get fucking snails instead. That's not a gaijin pun, by the way. Get the trash out of here. Fucking goddamn trash masters.
Somebody, cover me.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will
Come the
win.
hell on, dude. Hurry the hell up. You're taking fucking longer than Harry the fucking idiot.
Fertig machen. Wir brauchen Artillerieunterstützung.
Jesus Christ, this is taking longer than ever.
Attack the A point.
Laden!
Okay. No one's there to cap it. At least that's what I think.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Well, at least you still have your dignity, dude.
Next time, victory will be ours.
Talk about shit, team. They did their best, but ultimately failed in the end. This reminds me of a time where something was called Fail Man. Still no idea why I got up tiered. I was at a 3.3 battle, And I only got 2.0s and 2.3s, and yet I'm still up tiered 1.0 BR. Oh, look at that. It's already past the time I said I'd quit. Well, there's no sense in not doing it, I guess. Come on, Martyr 3, even though I know you're not going to last too well, and this is going to be a short-ass round, I might as well just go there.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
If you want to join the Whitebeard Pirates, join today. Whitebeard Sama. This reminds me of some guy who goes by the name Hugh Basama. Hugh. Hugh is dumb. He thinks everybody out there just to get a sexy lady. But no, at times my brain is really broken. And sometimes I'm generally just broken. I will remember music and just straight up type it in the chat. But nobody cares about the sexy lady anyways. It's not about the sexy lady, it's about you. Streamers are nice, people are nice, but in Japan, you should know that the demographically smart ideas that you expect when you run a stream or you're a guest on someone else's stream, you should expect the unexpected. In this life of which is one of many reasons why I do not attend Yuba-sama streams anymore, much less let alone even say hello. It's mostly because I really don't care. The guy had a good run and he had a good track record. But the guy also had a tendency of banning people for even the littlest of dumb reasons.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
As his streams are really no longer supported by me or anyone else who's currently trying to back him in many perspectives. You have to view, is backing somebody who just does things just because he fucking feels like it? Should you be really backing somebody, or much less let alone even paying for a premium subscription for them, or paying for a subscription to them? The answer is no. Don't waste your time on a premium subscription
Enemy forces have captured
with somebody
a zone.
if they're banning people just because they feel like it without a logical reason. Because it means even if you are a premium subscriber, you basically got robbed out of your own money. Because asking for a refund from Twitch will never happen. Now, I'm not banned from Yuba-sama's Twitch or anything like that, or his Twitch chat, or any kind of functions, but what I do know is that he himself has a lot of issues. The man tries to make something out of his life, but he still wants to keep it private. When you go on the national television, there's no way you can keep your personal thoughts and your ideas private, because you're in front of a camera. And the young man still doesn't understand that when he's in front of a camera, in front of a live audience on Twitch, that his life is no longer private. Every moment, every minute, people want to watch, they want to see. People are so cooped up and cramped and used to being stuck at home because of COVID that they've gotten used to just watching life through a camera versus actually going out and trying to participate in it.
We're winning.
You stupid! Have you noticed that somebody's behind you yet?
Somebody cover me!
This guy was literally standing there waiting for somebody to invite him. Idiot.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Well, I better make sure this repair gets put underway. Oh, thanks, retard. Oh, you're so fucking smart. You were shooting at him with what? With high explosive? Thanks for buying me 0 seconds of time. That didn't even distract him, not even one bit. And he still got blown up. Well, time to go crap on him. I guarantee you this shitting will definitely not be of any type of particular. Well, actually it won't be good at all. I guarantee you with the kind of freaking issues I've been having with dropping bombs, it's been pretty craptastic. So, you know, expect no progress. Oh, well great. Somebody's hanging out with him. Like that just made it easier for me. It really didn't.
And victory will be ours.
This guy says there's somebody there. Oh, I guess the guy's still alive. Oh. Time to go do my thing. Clink. Come on, dude. That was dead on. Don't give me that crap.
Cover me!
Oh, fucking god, dude. I can't rely on nobody's ass, period. Fuck this shit. I'm not gonna waste my time on a goddamn fucking flak panzer either. One fucking goddamn piece of shit failure after another. Fucking expect shit from this game. Fucking hating this trash more and more every fucking minute. It always starts out with trying to have fun, then it just goes to trash. There's no fun in this world. Huh. Not having any fun. That girl looks ugly dressed up as a fucking clown. Why the fuck would you post that on fucking Twitter? Cool, Jim. Gonna reply with wow. Oh, did it kick me out because I didn't fucking do anything? Oh well, fucking tough titty. I wasn't interested in that shitty ass trash anyways. Let's see what this person has to say. Don't you notice when bad Christmas movies come out? Nogla. I didn't say one, you retarded freaking translator. He's like, they need to make a Nightmare After Christmas movie. Well, they already have made a Nightmare After Christmas. Period. A girl says ass shape is more important than ass size. Well, sadly, you know nothing about fucking logistical purposes for something. It's not about ass shape and size. You can have the ass all you want, but no matter how much you try to sculpt it, it just can't sculpt that direction. It's just not physically possible. Humans aren't built to be able to be sculptable that way. Doesn't matter if you think you got your muscles built right or if you think they're built wrong. One way or the other, your genetics kind of fucked you over, leaving you kind of in a shitty situation where you really don't have a choice of having blocky muscles and looking like a fucking Roblox character for the rest of your life. No offense to any of you who actually look like Roblox characters with your muscles. And there are people in this world who do look like Roblox characters. I have laughed at them relentlessly. Because how is that even possible? Nevertheless, some people in this world just don't understand that your genetics kind of break it all down. If you're genetically fat, it'll be very hard for you to break through those genetical issues so that you're not fat. And it's just going to be a painful road for you because you have to be able to break that genetic problem. It kind of reminds me of one of my friend's daughters said, "Mom, how come you're so skinny and I'm so fat?" And then the mom was just like, and then just punched me in the arm and said, "You say all this." And I said, "Well, sweetie, the reason why you're fat is because you don't control what you eat. You kind of just shove everything down your gullet without thinking where it's going to go. You sit in your room." I mean, yeah, I was rough with her, but, I mean, straight up. I mean, she asked me to tell her straight up why she was fat, and I straight up told her. And I said, and although that might make you cry, this isn't me bullying you, it's just me telling you the truth because you asked for me to be straight up. And your mom punched me in the arm to tell you it, because she didn't want to tell you that herself. The reason why she's skinny and the reason why you're fat is because your mom busted her ass to exercise and to eat a proper diet where the rest of her family failed to do so. That's the reason why the rest of your family is massive and why you're not as heavy set as them. In perspective, it doesn't mean I fat shamed her or anything. I just told her what she wanted me to tell her. She always asked me to be brutally honest with her, so I told her exactly why. And she said, "Will people ever love me?" I said, "Sure. There are men out there in the world who love chunky women. And there are men out there in the world who don't. You don't want to go chasing after men who don't. You want to be yourself, but you want to eat healthy so that you're healthy. You might say, you have no idea what it's like to starve, but you have no idea what it's like to starve for a whole week with having nothing in your stomach." I've heard a girl tell me before, dude, that, you know, when she was fat, that I have no idea what it's like to starve. And I told her, "Bitch, there's no food at my house. The only time I get to eat is when I go home. You get to go home and you have a fully stocked fridge. What the fuck you talking about? Don't know what it's like to starve." That annoyed the shit out of me. Her daddy had a sweet, kick-ass CEO-based-like job. And all he had to do was show up at the office and sit in a damn chair. Talking about I don't know what it's like to starve. Man, you willingly starving yourself so you could look good. I said, I'm not even willingly starving myself. I really didn't have a choice. I even told her that. I'm not willingly starving myself, just so you know. I don't have a choice because there's no food. And when there's no food in the fridge, there's no food. I either gotta wait till next month or hope that my father gets paid more. And that was what I told her. And I said, you have a father who makes over 10 grand in a week. I'm talking about close to 50 grand in a month.
We're winning.
you're gonna tell me I don't know what it's like to starve. Bitch, I've been not willingly starving myself so I could lose weight in life. I even told her, I'm starving because there's no money for food. Yeah, it's just like one of the many things that I actually pointed out with life, with people that I've been friends with. Like, I'm not gonna fat shame you in life, but I mean, if your kid's gonna say, I don't know what it's like to starve, or you're gonna say, I don't know what it's like to starve, bitch, I starved for almost a whole month and a half with nothing to eat on the plate. You're gonna try to sit there and tell me I don't know what it's like? You must be out your goddamn mind. So believe I don't know what it's like to have no food on the table. That's kind of one of the main reasons why me and her really didn't get along either. I barely got lucky with that crap, don't ask me how. For a second there I thought that was a functioning tank and I was about to shoot it. But yeah, man, I ain't lying when I tell you, man, I've starved before. If you're an unfortunate kid whose parents don't make enough money to have bread on the table or food, or even much less let alone a gallon of milk.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
If a fat chick ever tells you you don't know what it's like to starve, you tell her she doesn't know what it's like to starve, because she's fat because she's clearly eating good. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. Like, I've even given up food before to a fat chick before, mostly because she didn't really have too much, but it was because that girl's family didn't have a silver spoon or platinum spoon up their ass. To where you could just go over there and eat whatever. Just dig in the fridge and eat whatever, man. It was mostly because of that, but in perspective sense, what I'm saying is this. You know, only a limited amount of people will ever understand your pain, and only a small amount of people could ever understand the shit you've gone through. I'm not gonna say fat shame a fat chick, but if you know her family's got a platinum spoon in their mouth and she's got bread coming in from her dad out the wazoo, and then she's gonna say, you don't know what it's like to starve, yeah, you should tell that bitch something. And just be brutally honest. Man, like, I've shared my food with a fat girl whose family didn't have money on a table or a full stock fridge because, you know, the family ate like most of it and there was like a small portion for her set aside. So in perspective, I know what it's like to see another person starve.
Yes!
It's also one of the many things that we shared in common, which was our pain we shared together. We also went out for a little while. Yeah, she was a very nice girl. For a heavy-set girl, she was really nice and kind-hearted. I remember she shared a bag of Doritos with me, a family-sized one.
Just keep it up.
That was the nicest gesture anybody's ever done for me when I was younger.
Attack the A point.
Attack the A point!
Attack the Wibble?
Attack the A point! Somebody cover me!
Yes, sir. Attack the Wibble. Really? All that damage to nothing? Nah, dude. Screw that. I ain't wasting my time.
Somebody cover me.
How about some help, you dumbass SBA? Hey, you're gonna start shooting at these guys? You're gonna fucking wait until they fucking murder me in prison. Yeah, exactly what the hell I thought. These bitches were gonna wait until the fuckers killed me. Fucking pointless to have fucking vegetables on your team. Son of a bitches are blind. Oh well. No helping them, they're useless. This has got to be the lamest SPAA. It got nerfed again. Now it's only got 40 rounds.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory is close.
Come on, dude.
Bravo!
Come on, dude.
Awesome!
Oh well. Anyways, point being is this. I was starved when I was a kid because there wasn't enough room or I guess food on the table for me. And I was starving. In perspective, it really wasn't that great. I had to deal with everyone. Then I became the lonesome kid with no family, no brothers, nothing. Nobody was around. Then when my brothers came and visited and whatever, they did their own thing. Then drifted apart from my brothers even further, drifted apart from my other brother even more further. So the only brother I would want to talk to doesn't even talk to me. So in perspective, I just drift further apart from family. There's nothing I could do about it. Can't make family talk to me. Can't make them hang out with me. Probably won't even bother trying to even do that either. Probably a fat waste of my time. You know, I was going to say, does anybody ever have that one family member who's sick in the head and thinks that family could be like a picture-perfect family, like another person's family where everybody laughs, makes jokes, and, you know, comes around and whatever? How everybody's laughing in a fat group or whatever. Well, I got a family member that's in my family and they're sick in the head and they believe that setting can exist with this family that, you know, they live in. And whenever they imagine that idea, like, it makes me sick. Like, I want to throw up. Kind of sick. Like, I'm genuinely appalled that they believe that that's a function that is possible. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, I really am appalled that some of my family members genuinely think that it's possible for me and other members of the family to live together like we're a family. You know, like those cheesy ass Christmas movies, like, here's one, Home Alone. You know how in the movie Home Alone, Kevin McAllister and his whole family sit there loving each other, breaking stuff or making jokes and having a hilarious comedic lifestyle? Well, that's the comedic lifestyle that some people in my family unrealistically pursue. It's not real. It's like when someone tells you the cake is a lie. Well, it really is a goddamn lie. Why would you ever try to unrealistically pursue something that is not physically possible? Like, that crosses my mind. Like, what makes people think that's possible? In the family we live in. There are too many bad people in the family, and there are too many thieves. Some people in the family are jealous that others have inheritances, and some people are jealous that others do not have the inheritances. Some people will murder people for millions of dollars in this family I live in. Some people will make sure that you can't have it. It's just really screwed up, but it's the reality I live in. For those of you who don't understand, with functions with money and inheritances and general ideals inside of my family, we're not inheriting any type of fortune because people are too busy trying to blow each other up. So, in perspective, there will be nobody left to grab it or get it. But this home that we have has already been broken into and files have been sifted through. And it could either be family or it could be outsiders from the family that has to pay the gratuitous amount owed. But point being is, it's too much to deal with. I am not a rich family. We were not born rich. I was poor when I came into this world, and I'm going to leave poor. That's how I view it. I was a poor, dumb, broke bastard when I came into the earth. I'm going to leave a poor, dumb, broke bastard. Because when I was born, there wasn't money already shoved up in my ass. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the asshole cam, okay? It's over. Find a new game. I already knew that map was gonna end in shambles. Find me a new goddamn game. Fucking wasting my time with that shit. Hurry the fuck up. Find a new goddamn game. I'm not gonna wait another fucking 30 years for fucking something interesting to happen. I'm not gonna wait 40 years for something interesting to happen. Fuck's sake, man. Okay, well, I'm done with this trash. War Thunder, you can go to fucking hell and trash bin where you belong. I'm just gonna wait for Resident Evil 2 to update and then see how stupid the update is. Yes, confirm. Exit that trash game. Stop it. Remove it. Uninstall. Fuck's sake. Yeah, it's gonna continue the update or whatever. Oh, fuck you. It took away more DLC from me. This piece of shit took away more DLC from me. Fucking Steam. Fuck you. Fuck you, you trash ass Steam. Just fucking stealing DLC. Already fucking did me wrong. Fucking Steam's over there taking my damn DLC. Yeah, I already had my freaking free DLC. This game came with other DLC too, jackass. When I bought the damn shit, it came with more DLC besides a freaking key. And here I am, missing DLC. Dude, there's absolutely no difference in the Jill model handgun versus the freaking Chris model. There's absolutely no goddamn difference. There's no difference in firepower, there's no difference in machinery, There's no difference in ammunition. There's no difference in the Albert model. The Samurai's Edge, there's really no differences. So, why exactly are you trying to pawn it off? Are there really any key differences in these firearms? Oh, great. It even took away my Resident Evil original soundtrack from the original Resident Evil 2. My soundtrack isn't even there. Oh, so much for the damn music. I guess Steam is basically rent a game or rent a DLC at this point. Missing Steam DLC. That's great. I got all that DLC with my game for free. And now I don't have any of it. So great, Steam. I appreciate that you stole everything I paid for. You know, that's everything everybody wants to wake up to, you know. They got their DLC for Steam games, and then, bam, they wake up 20 seconds later and they got none of their DLC, none of their games, nothing. Yeah, I just love a big fat removal of DLC illegally. I should probably switch over or buy the physical discs themselves instead of going to a craptastic freaking game creator function. Should probably stop buying Steam games too, and I should buy a physical format of the game and request a physical format disc of it so that I can use it and lock it up in a safe. Should probably ask Blizzard to send me a physical disc copy of their Fallout 76 game, but just the base version, and then I'll have to do all the updates manually. I mean, believe it or not, some of these games that they're out there that you got on your consoles and stuff like that, they have digital versions available and stuff, but I'm going to tell you straight up now, some of these games, their digital versions are crap because the compression ratio is shite. Along with the download and upload ratio form factors, they're also pretty shit. It says this Resident Evil 2 update is a small update, and what does it do? Well, this Resident Evil 2 update updates the Resident Evil engine from DirectX 11 to DirectX 12. After that, you'll no longer have the ability to run the game. So if your computer has Resident Evil 2 on it and you don't have DirectX 12 on your graphics card, you will no longer be able to play Resident Evil 2. That is the only recent update the game has had. I also got Resident Evil Village, but I don't really play that mess. Look, they're still selling Resident Evil 4. But they're selling it for $20. It's not worth 20 bucks, homie. Resident Evil 4 is a heavily outdated game. If anything, if you don't have a Resident Evil 4 remake, you got nothing to sell. And when people made the remake, they made it for VR. Which means they also have nothing to sell. Resident Evil VR sounds about as realistic as Resident Evil 4 on the iPhone. I'd rather just download the GameCube emulator or whatever and put it on my cell phone and then play it from there. At least there I can up the internal graphics of the game to 4K and still have at least a decent game. Now that I think about it, I don't even really play Resident Evil 2 either. Well, I could have stopped the stream and then start a new stream if I wanted to. Or I could just stop the stream altogether and just play Desert Skies off camera. But I do want to turn it into a Desert Skies into a mini-series. I'll have to record off camera some other time. I also got Saints Row the Third, but you know, there's only a limited amount of things you could do with that game too. Your imagination is a limit, that is true. However, the issue with that game is just what it is. As for the game company that created Terraria, which I think is 505 Games now that I think about it. I haven't played Terraria in forever, and when I do play it, it's when I'm really, really bored and have nothing to play. I haven't played Wobbly Life since the update is no longer anything I'm after. I tried playing Zombie Panic, but I'm going to tell you, it's pretty trash. It was fun for a few minutes, but after a while, it just wasn't that good. Oh yeah. Oh look, the game actually crashed partially. And the entire full screen application is on the other side of the goddamn planet. Because it didn't center the damn thing directly on the fucking thing. Now I gotta restart the entire goddamn window in order for it to work right. Because somewhere along the line, communication between my computer and the actual main menu itself was incorrect. So the rendering of the window was not even correct either. I know if I click continue, it's going to give me the craptastic game. Well, let's see if I can actually get this literally lifted up onto the stream or whatever. Just to see any graphical differences. Well, the graphics have increased, however the lag has gotten worse. I need to see if I can get the display. See, brightness, I gotta go down to graphics. Resolution. Fidelity FX Super Resolution, Ultra Quality. What the hell does this thing get that? Turn that shit off. Frame rate is at 30, 120, set 60. Vertical sync is currently active. Running anything at 30 FPS would be sort of a nightmare. Okay, well the game is slightly choppy. Yeah, just pull up the Task Manager. I need to freaking do a little bit of editing or something like that. And I'll see if I can even get this on the camera. This is a full screen application. Let's see if I can even get it to appear. Now that I've done that, I gotta go into the image capture, as you would call it. Wow, it's going to be pretty small. Mostly because of the shape and size of the window, so it's definitely going to be really small. I have no idea if it's capturing the correct application either. Yeah, I don't think it's capturing crap. Yeah, well, that's as big as the screen's going to get, for those of you who are wondering. Oh, look, he comes in here.
Better get moving.
Oh, I didn't think Alex would come in there. The more you know. Yep. Just go ahead and take this over here and see what happens. Oh, I think he glitched out. Hello there.
This thing won't die.
Yes, he sure won't. Let's just keep shooting at him. Okay, I think I'm done. That was pretty trash. Dude, like, is the game? Okay, well, I guess that's it. I gotta go put in some job applications or whatever. Alright, I hope you guys have a great night or whatever. I had a pretty sour night, and this really ended in shambles. Thanks for watching or whatever. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. This is really a sad day.